All right. Day 74 for sure. Showing you cute things in store. We're going to go on a little close-up journey of what we're about to talk about. It's sort of a like pre-tour tour. Yes, hello, little pear man. He's a little man who is a pear. The hydrangeas, I have been singing to them to tell them to thrive and live because they got burnt at the fireplace because they were limping, flimping. They were flimping because of the snow and the cold, and then I tried to warm them by the fire, and they started to get singed. But then I sprayed them, and I sang to them, and all was well. I love this beautiful grain harvest woman. Yes, the spring, she has sprung, and is already a-changin'. I love these. Oh, the light is coming back. Oh, I've been praying for it. It's coming back. You guys, you don't understand. I was like needing this light, and here it is. Huzzah. Hooraysville. But this little fairy is hiding under this little leaf. Gives her shade, you know, but I think she's quite special. And this pot, how special is this pot? It's like a geodesic mind trip flip. Go into your mind sphere. It is a honeycomb of a sphere. Into a portal, into your mind. This one also has a story. Every plant has a story, but this one was given to me by a jerk, a twerp, if you will. And it was like dying as I was giving him all of my, unnecessary personal mental energy. And then once I let it go and was like, nah, I'm going to make this plant live for me. Then it like flourished. Like this is probably 20 times what it started was. And it was limping and flimping too. And our solar powered crystal rainbow maker is doing its rainbows, and these delightful pink guys also came from the King Soups. We're just gonna call my grocery store what it is. Free advertising, King Soups. Yep, most of our good plants come from there. They really, and including today's very story. It's a year later on the anniversary of a day I've been waiting for. That's why I'm doing 3 costume changes. Get yourselves ready. Day 74. This guy you gotta love, because he's a clown who's, he's not really proud of what he's got growing in his trousers. But he's making a go of it anyway. He was from an antique store, and I just knew I would grow something wondrous out of him. And this fatty I rather like, because she's playing with snowballs. And there is a real walloping of snow out there. Cactus, blue bottles, let in blue light. This is it's an African violet, I believe, and we've only had it flower once, but when it does, it's extraordinary. There's a Frosty the Snowman in this one that today's story is about, and this guy also started as like a tuft of itself, like this wee bit of a tuft, and would you look at its kingdom of swirly-doos. And I'm just so pleased, you guys. I am having... Ooh, and my boo thing made this trestle. The car struck the bar with a fearful jar. That's all I know. I just love it. It's climbing towards the sun that is emerging presently. And we're going to switch places with the old coming back to life hydrangea. She is. And we're going to do like the little bloop, where we try to not make it awkward, that we're making a weird bloop noise, and bloop. We're blooping in. This isn't perfect like where I had it, but it's pretty good. So, this first outfit is one of my only Betsy Johnson things. Unfortunately, I can't really super afford that, but I would if I could, girl. You know I would if I could, and I strive to be like your cartwheels. Just even this much. And I guess, I meant to show the shoes too. I guess we could, I like that the curtain's there too, so we'll just sort of imply that the shoes are a thing. These are also a very, very expensive brand from London that I found for $34. Saw them retailing for over $300, darling. And this also, thrifting, getting other people's stuff. It makes me feel very Soleil Moon Frye. I enjoyed indulging in her life in that Kid 90 movie the other night. pounced on it right away, but I do wish she'd spilled more juice. You know what I mean? I actually wanted more juice, but I love her, and I feel a bit, 90s whimsical. Oh, hello, I'm over here. We called on the phone and said we'd meet, and so we're meeting. But I in yesterday's poem, The Scrooge Inspiration, I meant to tell a story of going to the grocery, why you have to like purge these things, life, and turn them into poetry and put on pretty dresses about them, because I went to the King Soups to get my groceries, and they said they didn't have like 3 different kinds of bread products. So I understand, I say no substitutions, it's cool, they're my homies. I am so endeared to them. I made one of them an amazing collage. One of my like brings my groceries out dudes, we became friends, made him a collage. He made my pandemic so much better. But like, it's, if you say no substitutions, then you often don't get what you need. So I was like, there's got to be bread in there. So I braved the grocery store and I found potter plants that this one right here is going to be going into. And I found these planter pots on sale. Had to have them, but I had to like awkwardly set them. So I like, can I set these here and come back because I gotta get some bread? You know the thing, the drill. You know the drill. Flash forward. This is just the kind of stuff I'm talking about a year later. I'm going over a bump with my 2 pots that are heavy and breakable and inside each other. And I'm going over a bump, so I slow down ever so slightly, and this woman behind me audibly, very loud like a movie, goes, "Ugh, come on, move it." There was no other reaction except for me to turn and say, "Really?" So I said, "Really?" And then I immediately stepped into the parking lot, like, fully, my car is out in the thing. Like, I know etiquette, I'm doing etiquette. And this guy, like, tries to hit me. Like, people whiling with this storm. You don't know the whiling. I was like, every delivery person that brought me groceries, brought me to groceries, which is a huge part of our lives, constantly, every couple of days. I was like, how you doing, honey? You okay? How these people treating you? What's up? You all right, darling? Trying to, like, befriend them, and they're heroes, But anyway, this woman audibly said that to me, and I was just, whew, and then the guy almost hit me, and I went, "Humans! Doing really important human stuff today," just very loudly, with my mask still on, and the etiquette, and the what have you. And then I thought it was funny, we were watching the news. I meant to include this with Scrooge, but it's okay that I didn't, because it's today, and I'm purging in a positive, beautiful, flowery way. Also saw on the news, they had, like, the weather crew out in the huge industrial, whatever kind of tank-like vehicle that they have, that they can, like, get over the madness and go through it. And so they're in it, and they're, like, telling all the people the things they should do. And on camera, this huge, like, black Bronco type thing passes them so aggressively and speeds. And they're just kind of, like, awkward news anchory, like, "Well, Jim, basically not like that." And it's like, yeah, not like that. Like, come on, you're on the news right now, acting like a fool. Come in here acting like a fool. So it makes me sad. But there's so many stories I'm trying to summarize. We gotta make it to the post office. We've been stuck in our neighborhood. Also a long story. Our plow, we had a guy volunteer to do our plowing for free. He just wanted to do it, and he accidentally hit a sprinkler, which is, like, understandable, but it belongs to, like, the guy in the neighborhood who has tons of Mustangs and has Mustang parties and his toys, and he has minions of people working on his lawn every single day that the sun shines in the spring and summer. So he freaked out and fired this guy that was volunteering. And so we've been actually legit movie stuck in our neighborhood because we didn't have a guy. There was no guy hired. And the city guy who went by our neighborhood gave us a berm, gave us a giant snow berm. And so I had the perfect light and I manifested it back again. Hooray. But it did disappear for a minute. But as I had the perfect light before, they finally got a guy, and he was, like, getting stuck and making the beep, beep, beep every couple seconds. So now I'm trying to expedite my words for you, and this is the little thing that's the precursor to our story. This is this beauty as a baby, before and after. So this is the day I got it, which the story I'm about to read is about, which happened on this day 1 year ago. Look at that redness and cuteness. Oh, that's signaling a costume change. Okay, here we go. And so, just because I couldn't decide, guys. So this happened 1 year ago today, and I was still working at this point. I am psychic, and it's cool, you don't have to understand it, but I felt this coming on for months before it happened. and I watch a lot of news, so I would like talk about it, and people at the restaurant I worked would be like, stop being such a downer. You're so negative. Stop being so dramatic. You know, which is a thing I get a lot. I have no idea why. But the sort of summary story that I like to tell about the pandemic is right before it struck. We're talking 5 days or less before, like, the real went down and everyone was like, oh, okay, this is real. So I was serving, and this woman was hacking, aggressively hacking all over her table, crazy, out of control, coughing. And, you know, I'd been watching the news, so I was freaking out and kind of trying to steer clear. And we had just come up with this. See, I couldn't decide between that one and this one, because this one matches this one so well. You see? Oh, I had to point out that in the picture also, before I go too fast, because I'm trying to go fast, you can't really see Pear Man, but he's there, little Pear Man. Little Pear Man, he's prepared man. Oh yeah, and I had to show you that he has a red flower too. So, there you go. Bob's your uncle. That was a year ago. And so, back to that. A couple days before this happened, the story happened, someone's aggressively, and we had this new robot system that I hated, other people were hating. People are like, come on, don't complain, Teal, get on with the future. These robots that we had to hand hundreds of people a day were like Nokia brick phones. Very stupid, couldn't go like 20 steps. We had a patio in the front and the back, and it couldn't go like 20 steps without ceasing to work. And you have to stand there awkwardly, and people are already awkward, and you have to be like, it's not me, it's the robot. I swear, I can do this. I'm the fastest credit card swipe in the West. I've been in the restaurant business for far too long, people. Far too long. I can do that shit in 5 seconds. And these people drove me mad. And Grandpa would want to pay for the waffles of the kid, and you couldn't do that. It was this whole new system, this regimented system of like, nope, there can only be 4 pets at the table, 4 of the robots. So you had to like really walk people through it in the craziest way. Even people that were like, oh yeah, I got it, I got all the gadgets. They would still struggle with it. So I was, you know, anyway, I was being dramatic when I pointed out the very obviously glaringly stupid things about this robot system that was slowing me down as a performer of service. A performer of service. It was really slowing me down and cramping my style quite significantly, actually. Ooh, how much do these shoes match with this dress, though? Are you ready for that? Me neither. So I had all sorts of jokes that I would make about them, like, here's your Nokia brick phone, and I mean, I'm hilarious. You know, I say things as they are, because they are that way. And so this woman, I hand her the robot, and she says, does this have cooties on it? Dead serious. So serious. Very, 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 very serious. And this is whispers. Whispers of COVID, like it's this other thing that's never gonna be our thing. And I was like, yes it is, yes it is, yes it is. It's gonna be us. Things happen in the US too. And I knew. And anyway, so she asked me dead serious if it has cooties. And I was at kind of my breaking point anyway. I had just looked at my 9-year anniversary card, which was by a computer in the back, like, wow. And I was deeply contemplating that, like, almost a decade of my life force for these things and these pancakes and these people. And so it was pretty deep in my head at that current moment. And I just said, yes, ma'am, in the way that all things on earth have some cooties. It has cooties, but we do wash them. But I thought to myself, in my head, my truth head, we actually don't wash these very often. People are very lazy about it, as they are with all things, and they skim over it, and it's bullshit. And I'll say something and they'll tell me not to be dramatic. So I took the thing, the robot, over to a coworker and a manager, and they were just standing there doing nothing. I said, you know, there's a global, like, virus happening that's happening in a couple countries. We should probably be washing these every time people use them. The one blonde on one side of me rolled her eyes massively. Said, oh, Teal, walked away. And the other blonde said, stop being so dramatic. That emphatically. And 5 days later, the world shut down. So, like, I don't know, people. I don't know. I never even got my card, you know. It's just, like, it was funny. It was... So I had this experience that the story is probably, I don't know, 3 days after. Like, it was right on the cusp of everything was about to be super real. I don't remember what the what the stretch of time. I could do the math and figure it out, but it was close on the heels of, within a matter of days of. Sorry, I needed a drink. Also gonna do one more costume change probably while I'm reading. Maybe, yeah, probably while I'm reading. Maybe before. So yes, people, this was just a really, important experience. And so I, wrote this on Facebook, I guess, and kind of forgot, like, what am I gonna do for today? And I was like, oh my gosh, I know what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I might start reading it while I change, because this one's important. This last one's important. So just stick with me. This is day 74, and we're gonna start to give you the poem as we transform. Today's poem is called "The Red Flowers of Kindness," given by a kindred of the chameleon Persuasion. Breathe in, breathe out again, I tell myself in a loop in the parking lot. I don't want to go in. I don't want anyone to have access to my energy. My hands are shaking, my jaw muscles tighten, and I grip the steering wheel while parked as though I'm going around tight turns. Okay. This is okay. I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to say something nice to someone that needs to hear it. And they're going to give me something I need to feel in return. This is fine. You're fine. It's just groceries. I give myself this pep talk out loud, riding the weird and inexplicable psychic wave I'm always riding. People who know me well generally believe in this wave and wonder how I manage to mostly maneuver it without being totally emotionally taxed all the time. Those who don't know me wonder why I am often overwhelmed in simple everyday scenarios. So, okay then. I shuffle into the grocery store, my hood over my messy hair, intentionally covering up my being and my light, guarding my essence, a choice I rarely make, and even more rare for me to wear exclusively sweatpants anywhere. I'm burdened by the repetitive cycle of scarcely being able to afford groceries, but needing more groceries as the bills pile up, to owe and lose more sleep, or to suck it up and eat. Ta-da! Or to suck it up and eat, rinse, repeat. We are by no means in the bottom rung of hardships, but the waters are often closer to my neck than I'm comfortable with. There's a long list of household needs to check off. But first, I'm in need of an impractical treat to push through all this. I manage my way over to the, the mainstream coffee company stand, and as is often the case, there's several homeless people hunkered down at the little grocery store coffee shop tables, staking out a territory they don't intend on leaving until they're forced to. I approach the barista with my usual, let me give you a tiny piece of my soul even though I don't know you at all vibes, albeit toned down a bit from my typical all cylinders pumping for anyone. As genuinely as I can possibly ask, I say, how's the day treating you? The young man's face before me is drained. Its longing and dissatisfaction catches up to me only a moment after I've already asked my question and put my human nicety upon the counter as a social offering. It only takes that short moment for me to realize I could sit with him for hours and console him and nurture him with all my heart, and it still wouldn't help him at all. He's that far from himself. He's all but given up. He looks around the room as if to say, are you looking at this place I have to stand all day? Do you even know what you're asking? All with his face. He looks down, agitated, almost wanting to really let me in on all the pain, which I wasn't sure if I could handle in my particular state of floating fearfully through reality. I'm questioning more and more by the minute. He opened his mouth, voiceless, just a moment, made a strange animal sound like, He shifted his eyes to me again with a look that was half misdirected blind rage and half code for, save me, please save me. All he said was, I mean, with a shrug, then looked down, shrugged another giant shrug, his shoulders loaded down with so much more than I could ever observe or analyze. Now, if you know me, you know my typical reaction would be to dive deeper, find the source of this barista's pain, try to help him find his former self, or at least a shred of it. In this moment, however, saturated with my own sense of insecurity and various heavy, burdensome premonitions, I panicked and pretended to be someone base level, someone who just wanted coffee. Period. It felt horrible to fake this. His disgust and despair was so apparent, and I just tapped out and babbled my meaningless coffee order, completely disassociating from my soul for a moment in a sweaty, dizzy haze. I did not again meet his gaze, and it saddened me deeply to have bailed on him like that. Now you might ask, was this today sometime? A year ago today. Was this today sometime in the last few days in a reaction to virus pandemic pandemonium? No. No, this was weeks ago, when all that seemed to most people around me to be someone else's problems. Something going on over there, an elsewhere issue, a conspiracy, a mere overreaction to news noise. This was weeks ago, before concerts canceled, challenging the oh-so-precious flow of good vibes for the privileged, sports arenas shuttered, stunning a country pampered in excess by their sacred traditions, and inconvenience crept into a society of shrugs, scrolling, and selfies, until the news informed us this isn't just inconvenience, it's life-threatening. And people started listening. Sort of. Reader, it phases me not if you believe me here. I gave up a long time ago on anyone's belief or disbelief of my unique perspectives, shifting my own self-acceptance of my strange soothsaying shenanigans. Basically, it doesn't matter if you accept it. 'Cause after 30 plus years of experiencing it, I finally have. But the thing is, I saw all this coming weeks and weeks ago. Tucked fearfully under my hoodie where I'd usually be covered in rainbow colors and vibrant vintage statement pieces, I pulled my sleeves down around my hands, insecure about everything I touched. I sipped my coffee and moved slowly through the grocery store, wondering if these people can't look at me and be human with me now, how's it gonna feel in a few weeks? A few weeks from now, when we've shifted into uncharted waters. As I said, believe me or don't, but I saw the newsreel before there was one. I hesitate to traverse the internet basically ever. The past few months I've gone down some dangerous thought portals after merely dabbling in the vast internet world. I've been feeling inadequate and lost and honestly like a downright loser as I haplessly do the dreaded comparison dance, scrolling profiles of friends with 26,000 followers who are practically naked in every post. Is that what I have to do? Is that the only way to have my voice heard? Thought spiraling on travel posts with dizzy, nauseating jealousy. Fillers. Fillers and filters and little TikTok snippets. A year ago. Little TikTok snippets simultaneously pursuing articles about simultaneously perusing articles about the toxic spyware on such apps. I scroll and fuss. Doesn't it ever take a toll? Everyone's arguing, snipping and snapping at one another. Everyone's more curt and disgruntled than the person before them. Than ever, really. That or they're just flat out unfazed. Even now, post-reality shift, more of the same. Me-centric, meville, population me, hashtag me, at me. I'm scared. Honestly scared. Not just about the latest virus, but mainly about human behavior. 20-somethings are putting chemical fillers in their faces. Influencers are ruining national landmarks to snap selfies about it and attaining followers and hits with what I can only describe as empty void ego culture. Please don't rip my thoughts apart here, y'all. I honestly couldn't take it. Many of you know I'm an actor, an artist. It feels yucky even identifying that way these days because it's become rightfully associated with extreme egocentrism. Yes, I too want to be noticed and heard and influential. Yeah, that too, but golly, I shudder at the thought of being labeled an influencer in a world where that mostly means ego pro. I want a platform, but the platforms all seem sticky with artifice. Yes, I have pictures of myself posed and primped on my page here, but most images I have snapped of myself are offering that tiny sliver of my soul I held out to that barista before he swatted it. Not just my image. And yes, I do care if you believe me on that one. I don't know if it matters, though. Not now, before you go labeling me a negative Nancy. Just know I'm trying to present my truth, vulnerability, some painful realness, but also some hope sprinkles, rainbow-colored ones. I wrote out this experience because I was in pain after interacting with this young man. Real, physical pain. I walk the aisles thinking about how starved people are to be seen, yet they don't know how to break free from the societal cement and shame and not enoughness that they are stuck beneath. But wait, there's more. I tried to shift my intentions while moving very slowly as people zoomed past me, practically running me over with their shopping carts. Pre-pandemic, remember? And scowling at my decision to move like I wasn't on fire. I stopped at the flower stand and sniffed a particularly peachy colored bulb I'd never seen before. "Are you finding everything okay, hun?" a voice came from over the desk, and with it a full rainbow spectrum of hair was revealed, along with fabulous glitter acrylic glasses that dazzled into view. "I'm actually finding and smelling everything. Just stopping to smell the old flowers and such, but thank you," I replied, determined to make this interaction more humanized. She was about to turn away, back to her busy work, and I added, "I've never smelled anything like these ones." She chimed back humorously, "Really? I kind of think they smell like nothing, like seltzer water." I chuckled. "I think they smell like honey butter biscuits." I reached further, looking for that connection that was lacking in the rest of the building. "I absolutely love your glasses," I said. Like, that's my style right there. All rainbows. Today I'm disguised as a normal-ish person. Kind of felt like I needed to hide for some reason, but I'm typically like Betsy Johnson, Lisa Frank, Goth Barbie, Alien, super freak, that kind of thing. Today I just needed a shell, I guess. I could tell by her eyes that I'd shaken her out of her general public unpleasantries she'd become sadly too accustomed to, and she decided to give me some of her true self in return. "That's awesome," she practically chirped. "I got Betsy Johnson shoes on right now." "Oh, girl," I said, "I have to come around and see," I gleefully responded, skipping around the flower counter. I was met by her magical neon platforms woven with the pinks and lime greens of my youth. Truth. I felt seen. I think she did too. Whew. I think she did too. "Today I'm all unicorn vibes," she elaborated, "but often I'm just so metal, all skulls, all that. Then other random days I'm like Doris Day, just pastel and sweet and whatever." "Oh my gosh," I screeched. "Me too. I can never understand people who are just one thing, you know?" Like, I wake up and my clothes kind of speak to me. Truly, I often don't feel complete without at least 10 colors on. And then some days I'm just in this weird wannabe wrapper and oversized sweatshirts. And then I'll wake up on a random Tuesday and it's straight back to 8th grade. Hot Topic chains and all the goth inspo. All the goth inspo you can shake a wand at. I see groups rolling around all looking the same. And I'll just never grasp how that feels natural. To commit so fully to one definition of expression. She smiled a deep and kind smile. We continued our small talk a bit. One thing I said that stands out now is nobody seems to be able to make real eye contact these days, let alone hear each other or step outside themselves long enough to learn anything from one another. I'm scared that if things get any worse in society, we'll all need bunkers, because we can't even seem to master super easy moment-to-moment kindness. And that was weeks ago. She understood. She was with me. Hold on, she said, holding up her hand covered in neon bracelets and dipping behind the counter. You want a free plant? This real angry lady returned it, because a tiny little corner had died. That's what happens a lot here, and I'm always like, it's a plant? She laughed, a kindred, mischievous laugh, and pulled out a lovely little white basket full of succulents and delicate, whimsical red flowers. Yes, of course I do, I practically yelled. You can't imagine how much I needed and was hoping for that kindness. You just made my whole day. I told her earnestly, my eyes getting quite misty. I had to talk myself into coming in here today. Like, really talk to myself, out loud. We really needed groceries, but I was actually frozen with fear in the parking lot by the sort of human snub, brush off I feel everywhere. Even deeper than that, I was scared that I'm starting to snub people just because I don't want to be snubbed by them. It's all quite scary, but thank you, really. What you do matters. She really heard that last part. And I could tell she needed to hear it just as much as I needed that lovely little plant and the humanity behind it. So, as I predicted, I said something as I predicted in the parking lot, I said something kind that somebody needed to hear, and they gave me something I needed to feel in exchange. Those were the exact words I told myself in the parking lot to get myself out of the car. I returned there with my little plant in tow, holding it by the basket handle proudly, and looked up at the changing sky. Something big was coming. This much I knew. Suddenly I was clutching my little basket too tightly. Out of acknowledgement and generosity, I closed my eyes, wishing, hoping, and praying out loud that even with this shift in the horizon, we could all still dig down to give a little, to tell someone that what they do matters, to just be kind. This, my friends, was several weeks ago. I feel like almost compelled. I did pretty good on time, a little better than I thought. I'm just going to read you the first part again as her, because it's like you couldn't see me. I feel like maybe if you couldn't see me, just the quick part. Oh, and also put these on at the same time, because this was also a thing I wanted to do. This is also a Betsy Johnson dress. Huzzah. This is Hot Topic phase, which this woman definitely felt me on that one. If you can't be a unicorn, be a mermaid, obviously. But this is like a saucy Betsy Johnson dress that my former manager gave me. And I didn't think she liked me that much. And she did. Wow, you guys. I am getting a call from the sign of the dolphin right now. I was gonna swipe it away, but I feel like I have to let it pick up just in case. I have a very important message coming from the sign of the dolphin. Have you ever heard of something so crazy? Doesn't that feel like we're not real right now a little bit to you? Because it does to me. Sign of the dolphin, still calling. Okay, let's hope they leave a message about how the dolphins want me to join their intergalactic committee. The red flowers of kindness, given by a kindred of the chameleon persuasion. So I said that because, you know, we both shapeshift every day. We both change every day. Breathe in. Breathe out. Again, I tell myself on a loop in the parking lot. I don't want to go in. I don't want anyone to have access to my energy. My hands are shaking, my jaw muscles tighten, and I grip the steering wheel while parked as though I'm going to go in there. And I grip the steering wheel while parked as though I'm going around tight turns. Okay, this is okay. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to say something nice to someone that needs to hear it, and they're going to give me something I need to feel in return. This is fine. You're fine. It's just groceries. I give myself this pep talk out loud, riding the weird and inexplicable psychic wave I'm always riding. People who know me well generally believe in this wave and wonder how I manage to mostly maneuver it without being totally emotionally taxed. Those who don't know me wonder why I'm often overwhelmed and simple, everyday scenarios. So, okay then, I shuffle into the grocery store, my hood over my messy hair, intentionally covering up my being and my light, guarding my essence, a choice I rarely make, and even more rare for me to wear exclusively sweats anywhere. I'm burdened by the repetitive cycle of scarcely being able to afford groceries, but needing more groceries and the bills pile up. To owe and lose sleep, or suck it up and eat. Rinse, repeat. Then I came in, then I came in, then I came in. I just thought, whatever. I think it's hard to understand. That's the whole point of the mask thing. Like, I often struggle to understand people now because I need to see their mouths. I need to feel their expressions. And that's like a whole human thing right now, is not having that. So this was her, for sure. And I'm happy. Day 74. This was really a good time. And this is actually, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say it on film. Whatever hardships I faced over working for almost a decade at one restaurant exclusively, every second of that was worth it because of this outfit. I'm going to say it out loud. Because of these gloves, I tie them in my hair like a headband, like Molly Ringwald sometimes. But it's all worth it. Truly. And I love her. I loved her like a mother. It was always those figures in my life that I love like a mother that gave me the hardest time. That's just the way it goes, I think. That kind of like baseball thing that we talked about with the voodoo priestess. Like, they want you to succeed. So they just have a really weird way of showing you that. You know? Man, I miss being like cool enough to actually wear all my hardcore chains around. I really thought I was that cool. And this, don't you just, I should take this plant on a date with this dress. We're going to prom together. This is my prom date now. But yeah, honestly, I feel like it's really all come down to this. It's all come down to this. Hey, man. He definitely agrees. He's got his beautiful, isn't that just a precious little moment? He's like, yeah, sure. Day 74, that's pretty cool. Good job, Jill. I just want to rub noses with him. I just want to little pair bed. Okay, guys, I'm going to go brave the world now. That's the thing. We're going to brave the world for the first time. A lot of drama involved in the plowing. It's hard out there for a plowman. All worth it because of the gloves. Don't forget I said it. Quotes. Doesn't matter. All the hassles. Fine. No problem. I got this and I feel so lucky. And growth. Pain is growth. You got to feel misunderstood to understand yourself, and you gotta feel weird pangs in your tummy that you don't get because it's carving out a new well, like my brilliant friend said the other day. It's carving that well for that water you have now. It's very sacred. You gotta treasure it, cherish it. So I love this light. I love this moment. I want to go roll out in the snow with you right now because it's so fluffy and inviting, and it looks like that Hollywood styrofoam snow that you just want to throw up in the air. But I'm going to resist it. Probably have, 300 pounds of branches that fell down out there. It's real crazy. The crazy, like, 'twas nigh on 10 years ago or so, maybe more like 13 that we had a snow like this. So Pearman and Rainbow Unicorn Mermaid Girl out. Thank you so much. I realize I might not be able to push this. I'll do the little I know it's one of those days I'm gonna like, oh, this is a hard one. You can't do it sexy. There's no way to, there we go. I just know today's one that I'm gonna sign off and think of 50 other things I wanted to tell you and talk about. It's okay. We did the gloves, we did Betsy Johnson, we did the shout out. Happy 1 year birthday to this beauty. Yeah, that's a beaut. I love that plant. Me too, Pearman. All right, if you can't be a unicorn, be a mer person. It's simple. It's very simple. Okay. See ya for some more jive on day 75. Let's do it.